In the far southern reaches of Madagascar, where red earth meets cloudless skies, there lay a small village called Ankarami. Sun-baked homes, built of clay and topped with thatched roofs, formed a half-circle around a central clearing. By day, the villagers worked diligently, tending to their zebu cattle, or gathering cactus fruit in the dusty fields. But for many months now, not a single drop of rain had fallen. The once lush land had withered, leaving crops stunted and water reserves nearly empty. Every evening, the villagers would gather under the canopy of a magnificent baobab tree that had stood watch over Ankarami for countless generations. Locally called Ranala, or Mother of the Forest, its massive trunk soared into the sky like a living tower. The elders told tales of how this baobab was home to ancestral spirits who guided the villagers in times of trouble. And now, more than ever, they needed that guidance. One such evening, while the setting sun cast long shadows across the cracked earth, the villagers assembled beneath the baobab's thick branches. Among them was a young girl named Raso. Barefoot and curious, Raso had grown up listening to her grandmother's stories about the spirits inhabiting this ancient tree. She was drawn to its immense trunk, where she could sometimes hear soft whispers, like distant voices carried by the wind.
On this evening, the villagers formed a solemn circle. The village chief, Rahobi, stepped forward, leaning on a carved wooden staff. His voice quivered with both weariness and hope.
My friends, our wells are nearly dry. Our children grow weak, and our fields lie barren. We must implore the spirits of our ancestors for help. Let us ask Ranala to guide us, as it has done for our forefathers. All eyes turned to the towering baobab. The villagers bowed their heads in silent prayer, willing the spirit of the tree to reveal a path forward. A faint breeze rustled the leaves overhead, as if responding to their pleas. Suddenly, Raso felt a tingling at the base of her spine. She glanced around, certain she had heard someone call her name. Yet everyone stood silently with heads lowered. She took a tentative step closer to the trunk and placed a gentle hand against its rough bark. In that moment, she felt a current of energy run through her, like a heartbeat thrumming beneath her fingertips. That night, as darkness enveloped the village, Raso lay awake in her family's hut. The night air was thick with heat, offering little respite from the day's relentless sun. Just as her eyes began to close, she heard a soft whisper again. This time, it was clear. "Child, Raso, seek me under the moonlight. Bring an offering. The forest spirits are listening." Her heart raced. She quietly slipped out of her hut, careful not to wake her parents. Outside, the full moon illuminated the sandy paths. Raso walked toward the baobab, guided by its imposing silhouette against the starry sky. When she arrived, she found the clearing bathed in pale light. The trunk of the baobab seemed to glow faintly, and she felt as though invisible eyes were watching her. She knelt down, pressing her forehead to the ground in respect. "My child," came the soft voice, echoing in her ears. "I carry the spirits of your ancestors within my roots. They have heard your pleas. To bring rain, you must remember our old ways. Perform the traditional dance of your people and make an offering to the spirits of the forest." Raso trembled with both awe and fear. She had heard rumors of this dance, the dance of the clouds, but it had not been performed in many years. Some said the knowledge had been lost with the passing of the oldest grandmothers. Yet, guided by ancestral memory, Raso saw flickers of movements in her mind's eye. She could recall the patterned steps her grandmother used to teach her under the moonlight, back when the rains were abundant. Filled with determination, Raso whispered her thanks to the tree and returned home, pondering how she might convince the rest of the villagers to join her. At sunrise, Raso quickly found her grandmother, Sahandra, who was tending to a small garden patch near their hut. Despite the drought, Sahandra's few herbs managed to cling to life in the shaded corner of the yard. "Grandmother, I heard the spirit of the baobab speak to me last night. It says we must perform the dance of the clouds and offer a gift to the forest spirits." Sahandra's hands paused over the wilted leaves of her plants. She looked at Raso with a mixture of surprise and pride. "My child, the dance of the clouds has not been performed since I was a girl, but I still remember some of the steps. Come, let us find a place where we can practice, and then we will speak to Chief Rahobi." The two made their way to a secluded spot on the edge of the village, a clearing framed by tall, spiny trees. There, they began to rehearse the ancient movements. Their bare feet brushed the dry earth in rhythmic patterns. Their arms swayed and stretched toward the sky, imitating the swirl of clouds. Although her body was small, Raso danced with surprising grace, guided by instincts passed down through her bloodline. By midday, they approached the chief. His brow furrowed as he listened to their tale. He glanced around at the desperate faces of villagers who had gathered to hear Raso's account of the baobab's voice. Finally, after a long silence, he nodded. "We have tried everything. We have sacrificed cattle, prayed day and night, yet the rains do not come. Perhaps the spirits have chosen to speak through you, Raso. We will prepare for the dance at sunset, and as an offering, we shall gather the finest fruits and grains we still have, placing them at the foot of Renola." Word spread quickly through Ankarimi. Despite the hardships, the villagers managed to find a few baskets of dried fruit, kernels of corn, and other precious bits of food they had left. Children were sent out to gather fresh palm leaves and decorate the clearing around the baobab. The men pounded the kidraki drums, traditional instruments made from hollowed logs, to announce the gathering. By the time the sun dipped low, everyone had assembled under the baobab tree. Torches formed a ring of flickering light, illuminating the dusty clearing. At the center stood Raso and her grandmother, both wearing woven raffia skirts that swayed with each breath of the warm breeze. A hush fell over the crowd as the drums began a slow, steady rhythm. Sahandra started the dance, stepping gracefully in time to the drum beats. She lifted her arms high, as though calling to the sky. Raso followed, echoing each movement but adding her own youthful vitality. The watchers felt a collective stirring, an electric sense that something sacred was unfolding. Soon, other women joined in, moving in unison, feet kicking up small clouds of dust that glowed in the torchlight. The drums quickened. The dancers swirled faster, their skirts flaring like blossoming flowers. Raso remembered the image of swirling clouds she had seen in her mind. She let the memory guide her steps, twirling like a gust of wind. With each spin, she felt closer to the ancestors, their presence pulsing through her veins. At the final climax of the dance, Raso sank to her knees before the baobab. She placed her palms on the ground and bowed her head. The drums fell silent. For a long moment, only the sound of labored breathing broke the hush. Then the air shifted. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the ancient tree. The villagers watched in wonder as a faint rumble sounded in the distance. Clouds, once scattered and thin, began to gather overhead. An elder cried out with joy, pointing at the sky. The torch's flame sputtered as the wind picked up. Raso lifted her face and felt a cool droplet on her cheek. Another drop fell, and another. Within moments, a gentle rain began to fall, pattering against the dry earth. Cheers erupted. Some danced in the puddles forming at their feet, others raised their arms to the heavens, letting the rain soak their clothes and hair. Children squealed with glee, spinning in circles. Tears of relief mingled with the raindrops on the villagers' faces. That night, the parched ground drank deeply. The wells would soon fill, and the crops would have another chance to grow. Under the canopy of Renala, the villagers offered their baskets of fruit and grain, giving thanks to the spirits for answering their prayers. The baobab stood silently, as it had for centuries, yet somehow it seemed to hum with satisfaction, its branches heavy with the weight of ancestral wisdom. In the days that followed, streams began to flow again, and the landscape slowly regained its lush greenery. Villagers came from neighboring regions to witness this miraculous change, and the story of Raso and the dance of the clouds spread far and wide. Ankarimi thrived once more, and the people never forgot the lesson learned. Respect for nature and unity in community are the true cornerstones of life. Now, each year, when the skies threaten drought, the villagers of Ankarimi return to the baobab's shade. They dance their ancient dance, sing their ancestral songs, and lay out offerings to the forest spirits, never letting the old traditions fade into memory again. And Renala, the wise and ancient mother of the forest, continues to stand tall, watching over them, ever ready to guide their steps toward harmony and balance with the land. Such is the tale of the baobab's gift, a reminder that when we honor our ancestors and the natural world, miracles can unfold. In Madagascar and across the globe, communities find hope by looking to the wisdom of those who came before, knowing that unity and respect for the earth are gifts that must be cherished and shared with generations yet to come.